Live on air, recording out of Temple of Freak Studios in Minneapolis, Minnesota. This is the Sahani Show. Welcome once again, wherever you're joining us from. Great show lined up for you guys. So, I know I promised you an episode November 3rd. This is, 3 days early? But I figured I might as well bring her in today. Still got a show lined up for you guys on this coming Saturday. Well, that's a whole other different story, because in studio with me today, I have Krishawna Brown. Had the privilege of meeting Krishawna, 3-4 weeks ago? Yeah. At the African Awards. This was downtown Minneapolis.
Yep.
Yeah, at the African Awards. She came out there, did her thing. I'm like, I gotta get her in the show. So welcome. Krishawna is a gospel artist based out of Minneapolis. Really glad to have you here.
Thank you. I'm so glad to be on the show today.
Welcome. So Sahani is a show. The concept around it is Sahani is the Swahili word for plate. And I really was just thinking that I could bring out a few of my friends, and we come out here, we talk about entertainment, entrepreneurship, and really just everything. If you have something to say that I feel or that I deem is like necessary for people to hear, and like you could come over here and we could chop it up.
I respect that. That's awesome.
There we go. She had the Wakanda forever.
Forever.
You know, you know the vibes.
Yeah.
Okay, so like I said before, I like to create a vibe where a lot of people that inspire me, I look at them and I'm like, maybe they grew up where I grew up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or maybe they're black, or maybe it's whatever, but like I relate to them on a certain level. And whatever they say, like, maybe resonates with me for some reason, you know?
Yeah.
So I like to really start from the jump with you as well. So
Wonderful.
like whoever who's watching might find some sort of relation to you, you know what I mean? So where'd you grow up?
I grew up, it's funny, it's going to sound funny. I grew up a little bit of everywhere. I'm originally from Sacramento, California. That's where I was born, so I'm really a Cali kid. However, a lot of my family resides here in Minnesota.
Born in Sacramento?
Born in Sacramento, yes. But a lot of my family, my dad's side, I should say, his side of the family's here in Minnesota. Okay. So that's how I ended up here.
Okay. I'm assuming your mom's still in Cali?
She was for a little while, but then she ended up staying in Minnesota as well. So she was there, and then she moved here, and now we're all here.
Oh, now you're all here. Okay. I've been to, where have I been to in Cali? I've been to San Francisco.
Got family there.
Was really disappointed.
Oh.
I was expecting like Southern California type weather. San Francisco is like really cold though. It's like 60. It's like fall weather throughout the year.
It kind of reminds me a little bit of Seattle.
Seattle.
Yeah, like a version of Seattle to me.
So we went out to the beach and like there's people with hoodies on and I'm like, what is this? This is not the beach.
This is not what we came for.
Yeah. But yeah, okay, so grew up in Sacramento.
Yes.
Came out to Minnesota. I know we were talking about this earlier on, but you also Georgia. How did Georgia come in?
Okay, so my mom at one point, I was going to school here in Minnesota, and then my mom at one point wanted to relocate to Georgia, in Augusta, Georgia, to be exact. And so I spent my 10th grade to my senior year out in Georgia. And it was an awesome experience. At first it was kind of hard, obviously, because I was leaving all my friends and family that I knew here in Minnesota at the time, and so it was a bit of a struggle. But when I got there, I want to say that I learned the meaning of true Southern hospitality. It was amazing. So I learned a lot, and it was a great experience.
Explain. I know some of my homies and homettes out in Kenya will be watching this.
Yeah.
Explain a little bit what Southern hospitality is.
It has a lot to do with the food, the manners, respect, learning those character traits there, even your appearance and how you carried yourself. So coming from Minnesota, going to Georgia in the Southern hospitality, it was different because here, when you're in school, you can kind of wear whatever you wanted to wear. You kind of talk however you wanted to talk. Yeah. But in Georgia, they weren't having that. Nah. So the principals, the teachers, all of that is yes ma'am, no ma'am.
Okay.
Yes sir, no sir, or those things, and your skirt can't be above your knees. You know, they're not playing none of that. You can't have no skin really showing. Everything has to be together and appropriate at all times. So I was just like, wow, that was something. But even outside of school, I learned that people everywhere, they were really courteous. It was a Southern hospitality. Everybody was kind of like family. It was like an outward family too. So it taught me a lot and taught me manners in a way that I didn't understand until I got there.
So I think the furthest south I've been, have I been down south? Yeah, I've been to Texas.
Okay.
Dallas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's nice.
That's about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so let's get a little bit into how your upbringing was. So I read an article. I was reading an article that you sent me.
Yeah.
You said growing up, it was you and your siblings.
Yep.
Your mom would get you all together.
Yeah.
And rehearse for
Yep.
like concerts or
Yeah.
whatever at the park.
Yeah.
And what was that kind of vibe? Was it like a little Jackson 5 y'all had going on?
Yeah.
Or
Truly, I would definitely say that.
Round 6 or
yeah,
whatever,
I know, right? Honest. Okay, so my mom, she would get us together, and at that time, I didn't know I really wanted to sing, or if I could really sing.
Yeah.
I was just kind of doing what I was groomed to, or what I was around, because my mom is a singer as well. She's a minister. Right now, she's been doing it for years. I used to be
minister,
with her.
pastor?
Yeah, well, no, just a
She
minister.
serves in the church.
Yeah, yep. And she is licensed to preach, so she is a minister in that regard
Okay,
too. So
okay.
yeah, yep. So I've been around that all my life, even with doing studio time and stuff like that. We would be with my mom. Like the first time I ever met the group Next, it was at 12 years old, because they were actually recording in the studio with RL and Tweety. Butter Love, that song Butter Love.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I don't know
Yep.
why New Edition keeps popping up.
I
in
know.
my mind.
Well,
Definitely not
they all kind of derived from these.
So who came
these groups.
first, New Edition or Next?
New Edition, definitely.
Edition came
Yep, and then Next came after. RL is one of our hometown heroes. So
Okay.
here in Minnesota, but
For real?
yeah. So
Now I gotta go look them up.
you have to go do
I
that.
probably know one of this. Was it a boy band?
Yes,
Okay,
absolutely.
okay.
Yep. And
How
then
many-
that song Wifey. You remember that song Wifey?
With my wife?
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I'll listen to it.
So they were, I met them in the studio like years ago when I was like 12 years old.
okay.
And my mom, because my mom was recording. So my mom, because it was a part of her, she made it a part of us. And so there would be like these talent shows all around, like everywhere in the city, and we would go to them. So my mom would have us, maybe after dinner or so, we have our spots, and we'd be rehearsing the songs that we have to go over, and you better get it right. My mom wasn't as bad as like Joe
Any
Jackson.
dancing?
Oh yeah.
No bells getting pulled out or nothing like that?
Well, yeah, she did. But We're gonna get this part right.
Yeah, you're gonna get this right.
Yeah.
You're gonna get this right. Don't play with none of that.
Right.
Yeah.
But I'm thankful for it. Looking back now, because this is what I want to do for myself. So yeah. That started early.
Yeah, for sure. So you go from a church type of surrounding, and you decide that. When was that turn where you're like, I want to take this and really become an artist?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So I want to say that first,
Was that a specific moment? Like, what I'm driving at to? Like, was
Yeah,
it like
yeah.
you saw some and then you're like, I gotta take this serious. Like, this is.
I did. Actually, even outside of the church, this is where I had my first experience. It was in college, and I met a lady named Shanice Jones. I'm saying lady, but she's a sister to me.
Okay.
And she's
in Minnesota.
She's also an artist out of here in Minnesota.
Okay.
And she's, doing her global thing, so I'm really proud of her. But I saw her. There was a club like back in the day that we had here called Club 3 Degrees. It was a Christian club.
A Christian
club.
Get
Can
out
you
there.
believe? Yes. Okay. A Christian.
I'm interested.
Yeah.
Christian club.
It was a Christian club.
Can you dance next to somebody?
It was all gospel music, so everybody got down. It was a spot
Are they
to
twerking?
be. I don't know if it was necessarily a lot of twerking going on, but people were definitely getting down in there. It was the spot.
Was it alcohol?
Nope. It was, wasn't no alcoholic beverages in the Christian club. No.
Christian
It was
club.
just straight, everything. It was just like everything minus the alcohol and, the secular music.
Yeah.
So I saw this group on stage, and they were called Love Jones and the Theo Soul Crew. And at that moment, I was so inspired, and I was like, you know what? when I saw them, I was like, wow, that's amazing. Because all I ever really experienced was the regular club life and, seeing secular stuff. And I saw it and I was like, wow, I want to do that.
Yeah,
and
I gotta be this.
I gotta do
I gotta
that.
be the next star out of Minneapolis.
Yeah. I gotta, not even just Minneapolis. I'm talking about all over the world. Like my mind just goes from zero to a trillion, billion, all of that. So I'm just like even beyond.
Okay. Speaking of Minneapolis, was Prince ever an inspiration?
Oh, absolutely. I love Prince.
Michael Jackson.
You know what? Yeah. Ooh, it's tough, but I have to go with Prince. I think I love them both so much.
You gotta give MJ.
MJ's the bomb.
I know we're from Minneapolis, but like Michael Jackson was really.
Yeah. Well, actually, I'm from Cali. I'm in Minneapolis now, but I think that Prince's music it more so touched me closer in the heart because Prince was very raw. He was very himself. He wasn't afraid. Everything, and very very much a man, even in his own right. Yeah. He was the man. With the pants on. You understand? Yeah. He owned it and just like so. His music just resonated more with me because it was more. It was honest. It was just raw in your face, and that's what I love. He wasn't afraid.
I remember the Super Bowl weekend. Mm-hmm. They had a stall out. What building was I in? I think they changed the Target Center downtown to like some sort of what's the name of it? I'm blanking out. But like an exhibition, some sort of exhibition.
Yeah.
And they had a whole Prince section, and they had all his shoes lined out. Yeah. And it was. Oh,
I missed that. I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah. It was interesting. But now, your name's Krishawna.
Yep.
But you go by, or you used to go by. I just learned this actually talking to you before the show.
Yeah.
You used to go by Soul Lyric.
Yes, I did. I used to go by
I get a little bit of like a soul vibe in there. Yes. How did that, with the lyrics, how did that name come about?
Oh, pretty simple. Yeah. I write lyrics for the soul, so I just changed it. Soul Lyric. You know what I mean? Lyrics for your soul. Soul Lyric. Yep, exactly that.
We have a group out in Kenya called Sauti Soul.
Oh, okay.
So Sauti is the Swahili word for voice.
Wow.
So direct translation, that would be voice to the soul.
Wow.
Or voice to the soul.
That's awesome.
So
I'm learning new things today.
And then also on matters of the soul, Southern hospitality, soul food. Mm-hmm. It's food for the soul.
That's it.
It's made from the soul.
Yeah. That's dope.
Okay, so you got a little something going on.
Got some sauce, you know what I'm saying? Just a little bit.
Yeah. Okay, so my next question to you would have been, you have a few artists who, what episode of or what season of this singing show, like
was it Rhythm and Flow?
No, not Rhythm and Flow. Did you watch that?
I did. I watched the whole thing. That was good.
This is the original Rhythm and Flow. You know it. Is it America's? Not America's Got Talent.
It's what? The Sunday's Best?
Voice.
The Sunday's Best situation?
There's The Voice, and then there's the other one. But anyway.
American Idol?
American Idol.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. So they have a few artists who came in there, and they started off in the church.
Oh, yeah.
And then they branch off and decide to go secular.
I see.
Yeah. So for you, what is it did you start in the church? Did you start singing in the church choir? So what is it that made you...
Not the church choir, but church-based. Mm-hmm.
Church-based, okay. So that being your foundation, what is it that made you want to stay in there and not go the secular route? Because that's a lot more, the genre is a lot more attractive, for lack of a better word. Mm-hmm. Sex sells and all that other stuff sells. Yeah. What is it that made you want to stick to gospel?
One thing, singing about life experiences that God has carried me through or gotten me through is easy to do. So it's easy for me to be creative with that. Plus, you don't see a lot of people who look like me doing what I do, doing the kind of music that I do, because I know my music doesn't necessarily sound like your traditional gospel music. Plus, I dance. I'm very out of the box. I'm not closed in or afraid to be, outward or whatever. And so, like you said, sex sells and all that, but you see a lot of people doing that. You see a lot of people talking about the same sexual connotations or whatever, or rapping about the same sad
Women,
hood story
money.
or whatever. It's all the same, you know.
all the
So it's
same,
just
yeah.
like, to me, this is original. Like,
Okay.
it's easy for me to talk about the goodness of Jesus, or the hard times with Jesus, or, you know, just kicking it with my homies in Jesus. You know what I mean?
Okay,
So
okay.
that's what made me stick and stay, because it's like, you know, if there's an avenue for this and nobody's really in this lane, I'm gonna go ahead and mess it up.
Okay.
Why not? You
I
know what I'm
feel you, I feel
saying?
you.
I'm gonna take it. I'm gonna own it, because he said I could.
Yeah.
Talking about-
Is there Kirk Franklin somewhere that you're looking at and like draw inspiration from?
You know what? I honestly draw inspiration from a lot of artists that people have not really heard, or they are underrated. So yeah, I love Kirk Franklin. He's one of the pillars in gospel music. Your Fred Hammonds of the world. But people that I would say who I would possibly like to work with, or who inspire me, would be someone like Motley Music, or Canton Jones, or Ambassador. Yep.
Say a song by Ken Jones. That rings a bell.
They don't let them Christians in the club. Oh my God.
Okay,
Or I'ma stay saved.
Okay.
Or I won't stop. So he has
Okay.
a bunch of music out. So Canton Jones,
Lecrae.
Lecrae. Yep, I like Lecrae.
I watched the first time I was ever at the U.S. Bank Stadium. It was a gospel concert, and Lecrae was performing. It was sponsored by I think My Pillow. This like company of pillows.
It was a big thing. That was Pulse. I think
Yeah,
it was Pulse's
Pulse.
event.
That's
Yeah,
what it is,
yeah.
Were you there for that?
I didn't go. I didn't
Okay.
make it to that one, unfortunately. But I did catch some of it on TV.
Yeah, so Lecrae, one of your inspirations.
Yeah,
Okay.
Lecrae is not one of my strongest inspirations. I would probably say The Truth over Lecrae, but Lecrae is dope. I like
Was
him.
the truth at Pulse?
I don't think he was at Pulse, but
There's this one guy with the long beard. I don't know if you know. He's kind of skinny guy, dark skin.
Molly Music.
Molly Music.
That's somebody who
Okay.
inspires me. Yep,
Okay,
Molly
okay.
Music. He's
Alright.
dope. I love him.
Not to be confused with. Did he sing "You're Beautiful, You're Beautiful"? You know what song I'm talking about? La 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 la.
Yeah, that's him.
That's him.
That's Molly Music.
Okay, that's Molly
Yeah.
Music. Okay, all right, cool.
Yeah.
All right, so being that you're a gospel artist, how much does spirituality play in your day-to-day life?
Honestly,
Do you belong to a certain what do you call it, like religion, denomination? Or?
I'm non-denominational.
Okay.
You know, so I don't belong to Kojic. I mean, I can identify with Kojic, Church of God in Christ, or Baptist, or your Pentecostal. So
what
I'm
was it?
familiar with all of
Kojic,
them.
you said?
Kojic,
Okay.
Church of God in Christ. So they're very very
Okay.
strict, very rigid in their traditional church ways. But I'm non-denominational. That's pretty much how I grew up. Although I respect, you know, all of the genres. We are all, you know, for the same cause. You know, same
The
God.
same God, yeah.
Yeah. So it plays a day-to-day. It plays daily in my life. It's
your
a
life,
part
yeah.
of who I am. So
Okay.
it's what I do. But I don't. It's not like I walk on every day and I'm like, oh, in the name of Jesus, you better.
You gotta
You know.
change.
Yeah. I don't
You
do. I
want people
don't. I
like
just.
that
You know what I
around.
mean.
Yeah,
Sometimes.
I don't feel that either.
Yeah, sometimes you could just you exude who you are. You know, you just be who you are, and people
By
can
your
pick up on that.
actions.
Yeah, people
Yeah.
pick up on that. So it's just like I feel like that attracts more than anything. And plus, the Bible talks about how God's love and kindness has drawn us closer and draws us near. You know,
Preach.
so you know you get more with honey than you do, you know, something sour or
Okay.
something bitter. You know what I mean?
Nice.
So yeah.
So you feel like you've used music as a vessel to maybe draw people closer to
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Christ? Okay.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Has there been, I know this is like really basic, but have you sang to somebody and they're like, wow, I want to turn my
Yeah,
to Christ?
yeah. There, you know, the interesting thing about it is that people come up to me all the time afterward, and it's just like, you know, me just looking at me, who I am, but God is so much bigger than me, and so that's who I want people to see. You know, I want them to see the goodness of God, you know, through my life, me being an example, and they'll come up and they're like, hey, can you pray for
What
me?
is it
Can
about
you?
you? Yeah.
Well, how did you get to that place? Can you pray for me? Or, you know, can you help me understand this or whatever? Or can you help me walk through this? And I will. So it's just like that. Blesses me, that encourages me. So yeah, all the time actually.
Okay, nice. Okay, what else do we want to talk about here? We were talking other ventures
Yeah.
that you've ventured into.
Yeah.
Single Mom Chronicles
Yes.
is one of them. It's a channel that you have on YouTube that you
I
use
do.
to keep your fans close to you.
Yes, yes.
Let's talk a little about that. How did that come about? What was the inspiration behind that?
Okay.
Yeah.
You know, honestly, I had a talk with my music manager, and we were just basically coming together on ways to engage the audience in a way that was relatable, because people like relation, and you being an artist or being somebody of influence, they want to get closer to you. So I felt like, you know, I was in agreement with him when he suggested that this is a way for people to connect with me on a more personal level, a personal level that's relatable but not too intrusive on my, you know, life. So what other way than to do a single mom chronicles? We have several single mothers out there, you know, today.
Yeah.
And it's like, you know, this is what I do, even though I'm an artist and, you know, I do these different things at the same time. My first ministry is at home. I'm a mother. So I have to, that's my first job. So so that was the inspiration behind it, and it definitely did what it was meant to do.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Nice. That's what's up.
Yeah.
Now, in kind of like in line with single mother type of conversation.
Yeah.
It's a lot of talk right now, especially in America, about gender inequality and equality.
Yeah.
And so, not only in America, but like it's becoming a wide-known thing. From an industry music point of view, do you think that this is something that you also face? How do you navigate as a woman in the music industry, and what are some of the challenges that you've actually looked at and be like, you know what, if I was a dude, I wouldn't have to maybe go through that? Or is there things like that you look at?
Yeah.
And can identify as some of the challenges that women go through in the music industry?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you know, the industry can be really male dominated, obviously, as a lot of people know. However, being a woman, sometimes you feel the pressure to maybe try to, you know, prove yourself more, feel like you have to prove yourself more for people to respect you. Then you also get kind of put in a box where you get in a place where you feel like you owe someone something, or you might be working with someone who feels like you owe them something, or they did something, and, you know, because you're a woman, you gotta, you know, do this and that, whereas another individual, particularly a male, would not have to do it, you know. So I've been in situations like that, but what I learned was that you have to have tough skin in this industry. And not only that, you have to be willing to take positive correction and criticism, and know how to deal with the negative, not so positive criticism. And then you go back and you build up your knowledge, you know, about the music business and the industry. So then that way people can't push you around, because people perish for a lack of knowledge. So if you don't know your stuff, then anybody can kind of like treat you any kind of way and do any kind of thing to you, because you feel dependent on them for your success, when it really starts with you.
Okay. Nice. So how long have you been recording, or been in the industry in general?
Honestly, for about, it's been some years. It's definitely over, I've been around for definitely over a decade. But more consciously pursuing it maybe about the last 3 or 5 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so reason I asked that is my segue into this is streaming platforms.
Yeah.
Right? So were you around in the CD era?
Oh, definitely. I still got some CDs.
Okay. Did you record on a CD, or did you ever release an album?
Yeah, absolutely. Yep, I did.
Okay, so now that we're in the streaming platforms, the Spotify's and the Apple Music, have you noticed any change in how people are consuming music? Is it more sales? How does it affect it?
Well, I think it's more so how you push it. So like with sales, depending on the marketplace, which market you're targeting. So in churches, you get a lot of our elders in the church, older people who aren't really tech and online savvy.
Exactly.
So they want
pull up on them with
you gotta have some technical, because that's what they want. You know what I'm saying? No, they don't. You know what I'm saying? So that's what they want. And so if you have that, and you minister, or you perform at a lot of different churches, boom, you're gonna make your money, because that's what they want. But if you're like, hey, you know, it's online, you can get it online, they're like, oh, okay, bless you, God bless you, baby. And you know, they don't know what to do, so it'll take them longer to. So then you lose out on that.
Lose on that,
But if you go to somewhere like a club, Yeah, definitely.
So do you find that you're reaching out more to the older people, or is there also like a younger crowd that's really
So I think
what you're doing?
I think my genre base is probably anywhere from 16 to 45 plus.
Okay.
That I can my
Cater
music.
to
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
Okay, nice.
yeah.
All right. I know we mentioned about Molly Music,
Yeah.
and the Kirk Franklin
Yeah.
and all that. Is there anybody who's popping that you like to collaborate with? Or-
I definitely would love to do something with Ty Tribbett or Dietrich Haddon
Okay.
at any point in time, or even Tone.
Okay.
You know, like love those guys. There are even some secular artists that I like that I would love to do something with. It doesn't change who I am. So like there's an artist named Eric Bellinger. He is dope. I love him.
Bellinger, R&B?
Yeah. Yep, he's R&B. Yep, I feel like he's very underrated, but he is
Great vocal.
phenomenal.
Yeah.
You know, phenomenal. And then like Chris Brown.
Okay.
My name, you know, just so I could dance with him
Last
one
name
time.
Brown.
Yeah, right, exactly. And just so I could dance with Chris Brown one time. You know what I
Okay.
mean? I just want to get a shot where we doing some dancing. I just want to.
I don't know if he's watching this, but
Right,
if this ever comes across your timeline,
You know.
you know who to reach out to. We got our handles down
Exactly.
there. Make it happen.
Yeah.
I'll be. Imagine
I
if
know.
this is the platform you came to and like
I know.
Brown actually like reached out.
I believe that anything is possible.
God damn
You
it.
know? Yeah.
Let's make some noise for that. 'Cause
Yeah.
now you better watch this.
I know.
Okay. So you mentioned hip hop, and I want to get into that a little bit. And so hip hop as a culture, and this comes from I was watching a few of your videos,
Yeah.
and I realized you have the way you dressed. The way you were dancing,
Yeah.
and even the cadence of the music,
Yeah.
you were borrowing from hip hop.
Yeah.
Right? And like we said, it's not where you would maybe draw inspiration from, as far as if you want to write a gospel song, right? And so, where did I want to go with this? Is there any like hip hop artists that you borrow from while trying to create music, or it's just like strictly a no as far as?
For me, it's not a no-no, and there's so many artists to name that I draw inspiration from. Probably here all day, but I can name a few. However, I draw inspiration from originality and truth, honesty. So you could be talking about the gutterest of the gutterest type of stuff, and I would love it. Like for instance, my little cousin, we were in Miami, and she was playing a song by Da Baby. I don't know if you ever heard of him before, but he was the guy that came out wearing a diaper. But he has that song where he's like, you know. And at first she was playing, and it was kind of getting on my nerves. And I'm like, what is this mess, you know? But then I started, right, exactly. He's wearing a diaper, but then I started listening to the song, and then I watched a few of his interviews. And I was listening to the lyrics in the song, and he was like, I just sounded this. So basically, he's speaking his life. Yeah, he's speaking it into fruition. So I dig that. I have no problem with that. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like I draw inspiration from whatever artist is being real.
This goes back to the first thing that I actually mentioned before I started asking the questions, and it was I was trying to create like a connection between you and the audience.
Yeah.
When I say, like, where'd you grow up? For
Yeah.
instance, somebody who's like from Savannah,
Right.
or somebody who's from Sacramento would look at that and be
Yeah.
like, oh, she did it, I could be able to do it.
Yeah.
So it's the originality, and you can see maybe what the baby is doing, and you could be like, oh, I'm going through that.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
And
it's like it's all about staying true to yourself. Number one, knowing who you are and solidifying with that, not trying to switch up because you see somebody else doing something, but you being you. Because there's so many mimics around that people want to pull and draw from something original, something that they have not seen before. So it's important for you to stay true to yourself, and that's what I try to do. So it's just like, you got to be confident. Everybody, and you got to be okay. Everybody's not gonna like your stuff, but you shouldn't stop because they don't, because there's going to be a ton of other people that like what you're doing, and you just keep going, you know what I'm saying? So it's just
that gives me more confidence to want to keep going with it.
It's like, I be looking at memes all day because I'm like, a naysayer. It's like, you know what I mean? Like, you just living, I'm living rent free in your head. You thinking about me, and I'm focused on progressing. You understand?
Like
so
that,
it's like you're gonna watch my life on TV. So it is what it is. You understand?
Okay.
So yeah.
Sure. So On the still staying on hip hop, and we were talking about this before we started the interview. Your takes on Kanye West right now,
Okay.
and where he's at. He has this Sunday service thing going on.
Yeah.
Do you think this is a marketing gimmick, or he's actually? Because I've watched, especially with the Sunday service, it seems like he's commercializing the experience of being in church on a Sunday.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And his album was about to come out too. So it could be that he's really mastered the art of trolling. And now all of a sudden, your attention is on me now. I'm a Christian and all this going on. Now I'm gonna drop an album. You know what I mean? What's your take on like really commercializing the church and trying to like? I don't know if his intentions are pure. What do you think about what he has going on in his life right now?
Okay, so this is my take on it, because I'm usually want to mind my own business, but since you asked, I like Kanye. I like his old music. Now, there's some of the music I probably couldn't relate to. However, with his new stance on him coming out and saying that he is saved, he's a Christian, that's all extra dope. But at the end of the day, he just, he has to answer to Christ about how he lives his life. Now, I do believe that he's a person of influence, and I do believe he's sincere in his stance right now at this moment. Again, only God knows. But I think that he is at a place where he has that power and that influence to engage a bunch of people, and I feel like if he is leading them to Christ, no harm, no foul. No harm, no foul. His personal walk with God, that is between him and himself. It does not affect my salvation. It does not affect where I stand with God. It's not going to stop me from doing what I'm doing. So whatever he chooses to do, that's his business. As far as him commercializing it, I feel like in this industry there is going to be a bit of commercial everywhere, because this is a marketplace and you are a brand. Like me, I'm my business. I'm a whole brand by myself. So it's just like I'm going to be commercialized at one point or another. But the thing about it is I'm sincere in who I am, what I'm about, and who I'm doing it for. So I think that Kanye is at a place where he is actually come to himself, or is finding himself, and he's choosing to do something different. He's getting a lot of backlash from it, because some people are like not feeling like he's sincere, but they don't know, because you don't walk with this man every day. And some people are feeling like he shouldn't do it because he's being a hypocrite or whatever. But it's just like, at the end of the day, people just let him live. If you feel this way, pray for him. Don't let it affect how you're living your daily life. You know what I mean? It doesn't really affect you in too much of a way anyway, because it's like, if you don't like it, don't watch it. Okay? Don't watch it.
Great great perspective on that. I really resonates with me now. And so if you weren't doing music, what else would you be doing?
I would be professionally dancing, because I'm a dancer too.
You're a dancer too?
Yeah.
Oh, my show, not to spoil, but my show on Sunday, it'll be fitness and like dancing.
Okay.
But yeah, we've been going for like maybe 40-30 minutes.
Oh, nice.
I like to cap it off. I like to cap it off with promoting some of your music that you have going on. You just shot Blessed.
Yes, I did.
Where can people watch that? How do they connect with you on all these different platforms?
So everyone can connect with me on all of my social media sites. So I have Lyric, Krishawna Brown on Facebook. I have just Krishawna on Facebook as well. You can find me on Instagram on two sites. One is at Krissy Brown, and that's KRSSY Brown, and that's on Instagram. And then you have Krishawna Lyric,
which is what's showing up on the screen right now.
So you can look me up on there. I'm also on Twitter as @Solyric, and that's SOULYRIK. But pretty much if you put in my first name, Krishawna, you can find me anywhere, my YouTube channel and etc. And I'll be posting, so that I'll have avenues for you. Once the video is finished and complete, you'll be able to go check it out. My music is out. I have a single entitled Blessed, and in fact I'm running a Blessed campaign that helps people acknowledge their blessings by being grateful for the little things in life. That's what it's all about, raising awareness on that. So you can stream it, you can download it. I'm on all the digital outlets, so I'm pretty easy to find. So that's how people can stay in touch with me.
For sure. Big shout out to Krishawna for stepping in and
Thank you.
coming out. Really appreciate you.
Thank you for
doing
having
this.
me.
We've been peeling out the layers.
Yeah.
To learn more about you.
Yes.
Any last word for our viewers? Anything?
I just want to encourage people to be themselves. Honestly, be themselves. If you have a dream and you have a vision, go for it. Don't stop. Even when you get the no's or people that don't back you, keep going, keep praying, and stay true to yourself, and you'll come out on top.
Okay, well, you heard it here first on
Yeah.
Sahani. Blessed to have Krishawna in studios today. Keep watching. We have a great show. I have a great show lined up for you guys November 3rd. I know I've really been pushing that on my Instagram and my Facebook. So be on the lookout. Got some great stuff lined up for you guys. Be blessed. Stay blessed. My name's Oko. A lot of people know me as Robert as well. Follow your boy, Instagram,
Hey.
Facebook. Stay blessed. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I hope to see you this coming Sunday between 6 and 7 p.m. on Facebook Live, and then we'll go ahead and throw the recorded part of it on YouTube. Thank you.
Yes. That was a great
That was
interview.
great?
Thank you.
Okay, we're gonna cut up forever.
Yeah.
Nice.
Good. Oh, that was good.